using it for, it's working absolutely fine. So that's how we've achieved that. Then for the head-mounted camera, if we come around this side, we've got a Gopro Hero 9, which we bought a couple of weeks ago for the purpose of doing exactly this. So we've got the Media Mod kit on this as well, which was really, really expensive. I can't remember how much it cost now, but it was, I remember when I saw it, I cringed. The previous GoPro models actually had a micro HDMI output built into them, so you didn't need to buy the additional accessories, but yeah, had to buy the Media Mod to make this work as well. So we've got a USB-C power cable running in there for all-time on power. There's no battery inside this either. Now the trick to achieving that, for those who might be wondering about it, is you need to have at least a 10 watt power supply. If you don't have at least 10 watts feeding into this, it's going to switch off by itself and do all kinds of crazy things. It's also best to run it without the battery in it as well, because with the battery trying to charge at the same time, it draws even more current. It also gets really hot on your head as well. So this, and also reduces the weight as well, not having the battery in it. So this runs really quite nicely. Sits on my head using GoPro's head mount, which is just a standard accessory that you can buy. There's no other funny adapters or anything going on there. We did experiment for a while with having the camera actually fixed to the platform, but it was a little bit more immersive and a little bit more, I guess, involving for you guys as viewers, having it mounted to my head, so you're kind of seeing a bit better what I'm seeing as I'm driving, particularly with the bezel-free kit installed as well. I just kind of felt like that worked a bit better. So that's all running nice and cleanly down to a little Elgato HD60S capture box here, which is connected to my streaming PC via USB-C. We'll talk about the streaming PC in just a moment too. So the HDMI connection goes into that USB-C out, and that allows us to capture full HD at 60 frames a second, so it makes it nice and smooth for you guys watching. The headset as well, we're just running an Astro A40. I've actually still got some bits of tape on there from when I had the Track IR up here, because the reflective fronts on the headphones was actually confusing the Track IR system and throwing it off. So that's what that tape is. The reason we're using these headphones is quite simply because they connect very cleanly to my Go XLR just via a 3.5mm jack. I'll probably end up changing these again a little bit later on. I was actually really enjoying the Logitech Pro X wireless headset. It is quite nice having an untethered headset. It does make quite a difference. But, obviously running the GoPro on my head anyway with cables and stuff, it doesn't really make a whole lot of difference. But that's the reason I'm running that. A lot of people have been asking about that, wondering whether it's sponsored or something like that, because it does have the Astro logo on the ear cup that you guys can see in the footage. It's not anything like that. They did supply the headset to us to test out, but nothing more than that. So then let's talk about the rig itself, all the things that we're running on that. We're running a Next Level Racing Motion Platform V3, which is a seat mover. So that is, as the name would suggest, just moving the seat around. We've got that tuned in through Next Level Racing software with the Traction Plus system as well. Again, we've got dedicated videos running through all of this in detail. The SimLabs P1X cockpit sitting on top of it as well. We've done quite a bit of modification to that as well, with the arms and bits and pieces all hanging off it, and custom fitting it onto the Traction Plus system. We've got a Butt Kicker Gamer 2 on here as well, which is still one of my favorite of all time pieces of sim racing hardware. Every time I switch this thing on, it just reminds me of how good value for money it is, and just the immersion that it brings. We've got our bungee cord system here as well with the seat belts, and that allows us, when we brake, the seat tilts forward and we feel a little bit of pressure in our shoulders. There are some dedicated seatbelt tensioner systems available, but this seems to work quite well with the seat mover, so we figured, why spend the money if we don't need to? It works. So that's that. The Lusso Motors RCC V2 seat, which I still need to do a video on at some point. I haven't gotten around to it yet, but that's something that will happen at some point. Sparco 4-point harness. We didn't really see the point in going for a 5-point. We didn't have the hole cut out in the seat for a 5-point harness anyway, so it wouldn't have really worked, but 4-point seems to work quite well. And as you can see, we've got it mounted to the sides of the seat here. So the front moves independently of the rig, and then bolted to the rig via the Yoki straps on the back, so we get that tensioner kind of thing going on. And we also got the Boosted Media logo embroidered onto the seat as well, as you guys would have seen in plenty of videos in the past. So I'll jump around this side. We're running a Q Controls GTX steering wheel, which I'm absolutely loving at the moment. Ooh, I'm moving around here as I steer the car. So yeah, got the integrated LCD through Ultimate Game Tech, which I'm absolutely loving. Another reason I really love this is it does have the bite point clutch system, or dual stage clutch, which I'll be using to try to get the perfect launch. I need to practice that tonight actually. Yeah, and all the thumb encoders for adjusting brake bias and things like that too. So loving this wheel at the moment. And yeah, just ergonomically as well, as I said in the review video that we did of this video, it's just a really comfortable wheel to use. And I do find that I'm a little bit more precise and a little bit faster using that wheel. So we're running that on the SimuCube 2 Ultimate wheelbase, same wheelbase that we've been running for a while now with Hybrid Racing Simulations Zero Play Quick Release system, which works really well as well. The SimCore UM1 mount to mount this onto our SimLabs P1X. This is super solid. You can pull and twist on that as hard as you can, and it's not going to budge at all. Again, dedicated reviews for all of these things. We've got the Airlogs handbrake and shifter mounted as well. Not going to be using those for these races, but they're just there on the rig normally. I kind of fiddled around quite a bit to sort of get these into a placement where I felt like they kind of worked best for me. And this seems to work quite well, having a little extension off here. Gets it up nice and high next to the wheel, but it doesn't interfere with anything else that's going on. Then we've got the Apex Sim Racing